Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is where you'll find celebrity crime and hot topics. Hello, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. All right, you guys, here's that overwhelming evidence of Mr. Peterson's guilt. That's Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez, aka Little Inmate. All right, so I am no legal beagle. I am just a content creator who loves celebrity crime, celebrity gossip, celebrity facts, celebrity history. I just love everything celebrity. So, you know, this strikes my nerve. Meg the Stallion is from Texas. I know some people are like, oh, she's from San Antonio, but she represents Houston. I live in Houston, born and raised all my life. So I tend to support people who represent my hometown and don't do anything to bother anybody. But feel free to comment on this case. All opinions are welcome. Drop down in the comments and let me know what you think. All right. So after Tory Lanez's press conference about him being freed because he didn't shoot Megan Thee Stallion, Megan was kind of quiet for a second, and then she came out and said, you know, the courts decided everything. He's guilty. And then her lawyers dropped a 31 slideshow. So I won't read over everything. You guys can see the screen. They have a snippet of the case document, the court document, the people of the state of California, plaintiff versus Daystar Peterson, defendant, verdict guilty, count 1, case number BA490599, Department 132. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Daystar Peterson guilty of the crime of assault with a semi-automatic firearm upon Megan Pete in violation of Penal Code Section 245B, a felony as alleged in Court 1 of the information. Daystar Peterson admitted to shooting Megan Pete. Peterson admitted to shooting Pete on July 12, 2020, just hours after violently shooting Megan Pete, aka Megan Thee Stallion. Daystar Peterson, aka Tory Lanez, called Kelsey Harris from jail and admitted to shooting Pete. The following text is from the recorded jail call. I know Megan, probably never ever gonna talk to me again, Lane said, but I just want you to know, bruh, I was just so effing drunk. I ain't even know what the F was going on, bruh. Like that. I never do some ish like that. I was just so effing drunk, nigga. I just didn't understand what the F was going on, bruh. Regardless, that's not going to make anything right, and that's not going to make my actions right. My actions right. Trial exhibit number 22. I don't think I'm going to do a soundbite. All right. Peterson admitted to shooting Pete. Later that evening on July 12, 2020, Peterson texts Pete apologizing for shooting her. 7 minutes. This is Tory Lanez. 7 minutes. Phone died 3 minutes out. Meg, I know you probably never going to talk to me again, but I genuinely want you to know I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart, and I was just too drunk. Nonetheless, it should have never happened, and I can't change what did. I just feel horrible. Trial exhibit number 28A. All right, moving on. Slides 5 and 6. Harris repeatedly confirmed Peterson shot Pete. Harris confirmed Peterson shot Pete. Minutes after the shooting, Harris texts Pete's security guard. Help, Tory shot Meg and handled me. 911. Okay. So as we know, Kelsey Harris was Meg Thee Stallion's bestie. Now Tory's people are saying that it was Kelsey that shot Meg. Okay, but we can see from the very beginning, Kelsey said Tory did it. All right, on September 14, 2022, Harris, in the presence of her attorney and husband, participated in a recorded interview with prosecutors and an investigator. Harris admitted to prosecutors that she witnessed Peterson shooting the gun, definitely in Miss Pete's direction. Harris confirmed Peterson offered her and Pete $1 million to stay silent. Miss Harris's testimony at interview. Miss Harris, I'm short, I'm 4'11", and that was a shocker. I didn't know that girl was that short. I think I'm like 5'1", maybe. I say I'm 5'1". The vehicle is kind of a little raised up higher than me, so I can't really see. I can only see from her chest up. That's all I can see. But the way Tory was angling the gun, it's kind of like, it wasn't like straight. It was like, down. Investigator Little. It was down in her direction, Megan's direction. Ms. Harris says definition in her direction in the area definitely in her direction. So at that point, we kind of were in shock, Peterson attempted to bribe Pete and Harris immediately after the shooting. Peterson tried to buy silence through bribes. Peterson begged Pete and Harris to keep quiet, offering each a bribe of $1 million. Pete's testimony at trial. So what is Tory saying to you? Her answer is, I don't remember anything he was saying to me in that moment, but when we got into the car and we heard the police sirens, now he's saying, please don't say anything. I'll give y'all $1 million. I can't go to jail. I already got caught with the GUN before. Don't tell on me. Peterson tried to buy silence through bribes. Peterson begged Pete and Harris to keep quiet, offering each a bribe of $1 million. Harris's testimony at trial. Question, did he offer $1 million so that you wouldn't say anything about this case? Answer, he mentioned the $1 million. And this is, of course, Kelsey trying not to rat on Tory. I don't know what she was doing. Let me not even go there. Megan Pete speaks out. Pete initially sought to protect Peterson. Pete told police that she stepped on glass because she wanted to de-escalate the situation and prevent the police from using force against Peterson. Pete's testimony at trial. The answer, the police start asking questions. Question, and did you tell them you were shot? She says, no. They say, what did you tell them? She says that I stepped on glass. They say, why did you say that? Her answer is, at this time, we were at the height of police brutality in the situation with George Floyd, and I felt like if I said that, this man just shot me, and I know they came because they had to have heard gunshots. I don't know if they're going to shoot first and ask questions later. I don't want to see anybody die. I don't want to die. I didn't feel safe. I don't feel safe in the car. I know I just got shot, but I don't feel safe with the police officers either. Slide 13. Peterson's lies compelled Pete to speak out. Pete realized she could no longer remain silent when Peterson began to spread lies about the shooting. She publicly announced that her injuries were from gunshots fired by Peterson. During trial, Pete testified under oath that Peterson shot her. Megan Pete's testimony at trial. Did you see Tory firing the shots? Did you? Something hip holding the gun? Answer, I saw him holding the gun. Question, and when did you hear the shots? Immediately after he said, dance, B. And did you actually see him fire the shots as well? Answer, he had the gun in his hand. He told me to dance, B, and then I heard the shots. Meg Thee Stallion at some point posted this somewhere. Blank two best friends. Oh, effing two best friends. Nigga, you shot me. You know what you were apologizing for. You keep putting a narrative out that me and my friend fell out about you, and that's not true. Why are you skipping over the shooting? Just admit you shot me, because you definitely ain't do it. And because she definitely ain't do it, and I ain't shoot my dang self. This is all his fault. If he did do it, he should have never went to social media lying or saying anything. It might have gone away. He would have gotten a lighter sentence. Peterson continues promoting disproven lies. The evolution of Peterson's lies. Peterson's story has evolved over the years. First lie. Peterson initially claimed that Pete was never shot and stepped on broken glass. Second lie. At trial, Peterson's lawyer argued that Harris, not Peterson, was the shooter. Third lie. Peterson claimed the LAPD lost or misplaced the firearm and bullet fragments. First lie. Pete stepped on glass, not shot. Dr. Lee Haruna of Cedars-Sinai Medical Center's Orthopedic Surgery Department testified that surgery was necessary to remove bullet fragments from Pete's foot. I'm not going to read all of that. But yeah, the doctor said there were bullet fragments removed, so she was actually shot in her feet, or at her feet. Second lie, Harris shot Pete. At trial, Peterson's counsel argued that Harris, not Peterson, was the shooter. Tory Lanez former lawyer, George Madison. There is no evidence that my client intentionally shot a firearm, ladies and gentlemen. The only person who in the record intentionally shot a firearm was Kelsey Harris when my client's in the back of the car and hadn't got out yet. There's no evidence he shot Mr. Madison. What's more newsworthy, you got shot by Kelsey or you got shot by Tory Lanez with 12 million people following? What's more interesting? What's more important? Huh? Second lie, Harris shot Pete. On September 25th, 2020, Peterson admitted himself publicly that Harris did not shoot Pete. So someone said, people saying Kelsey shot her. Tory Lanez said that's not true. You can't argue that she did if you said she didn't, Tory. Second lie, Harris shot Pete. Harris's DNA was not on the gun. DNA evidence shows that DNA on the gun came from a man, not a woman. California Attorney General's opposition to Mr. Peterson's habeas corpus petition at 16. Indeed, as the major contributor, 90% of the DNA on the firearm was known to come from a man. It could not have come from a female, such as Harris. Second lie, Harris shot Pete. Peterson's DNA could not be excluded from the gun. Peterson had his own DNA expert testify at trial. Both prosecution and defense DNA experts reached the same conclusion. Peterson could neither be included nor excluded as a contributor to the DNA found on the weapon. Y'all hear that? Neither included or excluded. But there was a man's DNA on the gun. Okay? Second lie, Harris shot Pete. Gun found under Peterson's seat. Semi-automatic firearm recovered directly under Peterson's seat. Weapon was still warm to touch and in slide lock position. All rounds fired. Spent cartridge cases from scene matched to this handgun. Gunshot residue detected on Peterson's hands. Come on. Second lie, Harris shot Pete. Gun found under Peterson's seat. Mr. Bott, right where the defendant was sitting, still warm. There was not a single piece of evidence from anybody in this trial to suggest that Kelsey was ever in the front seat of that car, ever at any point. Why is the gun there if Kelsey's the shooter? It's right at the defendant's feet, right where you would expect it to be, because he's the one that did the shooting. Third lie, the LAPD lost or misplaced the gun and bullet fragments. Claim, Peterson claimed the LAPD lost or misplaced the firearm and bullet fragments. Truth, the firearm, magazine, bullet casings, and bullet fragments remain in LAPD custody. Wow, y'all see how this stuff swirls around like that? When people try to put out a false story, that stuff moves like water. I thought they had lost the firearm and the fragments. Wow. And y'all can read that little part there, but police have it. LAPD has it. Rumors versus sworn testimony. Unsworn rumors being spread as fact. Bradley James, allegedly a former bodyguard of Harris, claims overhearing Harris admit to shooting the firearm, but James was not an eyewitness to the shooting. He was not present at the scene of the crime. James has never provided sworn testimony or been subject to cross-examination. James has not publicly addressed these claims himself. Peterson's team merely alleges what James said. Despite being cited as a key source, James failed to appear at the press conference to support these allegations. I mean, right, why was he not there? When is he going to speak out? Sworn testimony supports Pete. Noir King, Emil Holland Briggs, a former content moderator for blogger Milagro Cooper, testified under oath that Peterson admitted to Cooper that Pete was shot when a gun went off during a struggle. Okay. So Miss Cooper told you that Mr. Peterson admitted to her that Miss Pete was shot because the gun went off after some wrestling in the car. Answer, yes. Peterson publicly claimed Pete merely stepped on glass, directly contradicting his own private admission, a fabrication that was subsequently amplified by his social media surrogates, including Cooper. As y'all know, Meg Thee Stallion is suing Milagro Cooper, and her attorney just quit because she doesn't have the funds to pay him. She was allegedly paid by Tory Lanez to lie throughout the trial and say Tory did not shoot Meg. I think she said Kelsey did it. I think she did. I can't remember all the lies she told. I can't remember. Anyway, questioning, because of that, when Miss Cooper posted that Miss Pete was injured by stepping on glass, she knew that that wasn't true. Mr. Hayden, same objections. The witness at that time, yes. So Milagro reported that Megan stepped on glass, even though it's said that Tory Lanez told her Megan was shot when the gun went off during a struggle. So yet another altered truth. All right, Peterson chose not to call a key witness at trial. Peterson declined to call Jaquan Smith, his bodyguard and driver, as a witness, although Smith was available and present at court. Smith spoke to the judge in chambers. Smith's declaration came only after trial. Smith has never been subject to cross-examination. Peterson's lawyer's statement at trial, I just highlight to the court, Your Honor, and on top of that, and that's partly why we want Jaquan Smith. He was present at that location, but even without Jaquan Smith, I think Mr. Sean Kelly's testimony and the GSR on Miss Harris's handgun that was done by LAPD is sufficient evidence for a third-party culpability. Sean Kelly's testimony, this was an eyewitness. Independent witness testified he saw the short guy shot the girl, who then fell onto the middle of the road and was bleeding. Confirmed shooter had his arms outstretched, fired 4 or 5 shots, and had something in his hand with the noise and the flashes. Hey, I didn't know that. Okay, that was just a summary of the whole questioning. Question, do you recall telling the DA investigator that after the short guy shot the girl fell onto the middle of the road and you could see she was bleeding? Answer, yes, she was. She was bleeding. Question, all right, so the short guy had his hands outstretched. He fired 4 or 5 times. Afterwards, the girl fell into the road and started bleeding. Answer, yeah. She was crawling along and the court stenographer... she was crawling along? The witness, crawling and stumbling across the road. Question, all right, now you testified earlier this morning that when the short guy was shooting at the victim, you saw an object in his hand. Is that correct? Answer, yeah, it was obviously something in his hand with the noise and the flashes. Question, and when that object was in his hand, were his arms outstretched? Answer, yes. All right, ring footage. We're on slide 29 of 31. Ring footage. Peterson's team has recently claimed that they have obtained ring footage that supposedly exonerates Peterson. Not so. Ring audio is not new. It was admitted into evidence at trial as trial exhibit number 12 and was considered by the jury. I doubt it. Let's see.
You're listening to Street TV.
Audio of actual shots fired at Meg Thee Stallion. Audio of actual shots fired in 2020. Okay, whatever. Peterson could have testified but did not. Peterson had the opportunity to testify at trial and tell his side of the story. He did not. Unsworn rumors versus sworn testimony. Unsworn rumors. Daystar Peterson, Milagro Cooper, Bradley James. So they're spreading the rumors, inconsistent with evidence, never testified, did not swear under penalty of perjury to tell the truth. Sworn testimony, however, Megan Pete, Dr. Lee Haruna, Detective Jody Little, Randy Zapata, LAPD criminalist, Srinivasan Rathanam, LAFD firearms examiner, and Emil Holland Briggs, consistent with evidence, has testified, has sworn under penalty of perjury to tell the truth. The jury unanimously found Peterson guilty based on the facts, not unsubstantiated claims. Okay, so it's a wonder that they haven't released Tory yet because this group that spoke for him, Unite the People, I think they're called, they are speaking on rumors and a statement from Kelsey Harris's bodyguard. So nothing proving anything per se. So I don't know, but we'll see. I'm definitely not the judge or jury. I'm just interested in the case, even though the case is over. I just want people to stop bothering and bullying and trying to comment on this case when they don't even know the facts, they don't know the details, they don't know everything involved. But anyway, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.